Hey guys, so this isn't my usual spiel. It's currently like roughly 4 o'clock in the morning and I was lying in bed and I couldn't fall asleep, but for some reason this idea came to me. While I was lying down there, I was checking through YouTube. I think I was scrolling through and I saw some Jujutsu Kaisen videos and I don't know why, but it just connected me and I started thinking about Batman. Now, I know I think that kind of sounds why, but hear me out. My question is, and the theory that came to mind is, what if Batman had a domain expansion? Now, I know what you're thinking, how would that even work? But just hear me out. Now, as explained by my boy Gojo, domain expansion is basically a barrier of some sort. It basically manifests as the user's innate domain. It traps their target inside it, using like a wall, and this wall is basically like a separate space. Inside the separate space, basically the power of the user, or the power of the curse user or the curse technique, it buffs their attack, makes it so that all attacks never miss regardless of where the opponent is or what the opponent's curse energy is. Now, Bats, he basically knows every martial art, so it wouldn't even be a stretch to say he may know about curse energy, considering he's normally hanging out with people like John Constantine. The why and the how isn't really important here. What's important is what his domain expansion would be like. So let's get started. Firstly, the hand sign. Now, if you guys ever watched Batman Ninja, it's basically a movie. I think it came out in like 2018. That's where my animation comes from, because it's the closest thing I could find to a Batman anime. Bats does a lot of different hand signs in this, but the one I really like the most is this long ass one, almost like when Kakashi was fighting Zabuza. It's just really cool, and it's the best one I think would be closest to like him beginning a domain expansion. Right? Now, how the domain starts. Now, I don't know if you guys ever played like what was it, Naruto Storm? I think it was like Ultimate Ninja 3. Not Storm, it was Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja 3. In it, the second Hokage, which is Tobirama, he has a jutsu called the Infinite Darkness Jutsu. Now, when he activates it, I think that's how like Bat's domain expansion would be. It would just be like pitch black, you can't see anything, only Bats, because he's the user of the domain. So I think that would make more sense in terms of like how it looks. Now, as for the abilities inside the domain, that's the part that I was having the most difficulty with. Now, Bats knows all martial arts across the entire world. I've seen this nigga fought Zeus, Darkseid, and Dracula, and he fucking won. Bat is literally the epitome, or the most overpowered human ever. So it only makes sense that's within his domain, or within his domain expansion, his identity with bats. So like his stealth and his martial arts are like basically heightened all his senses. The closest example I could come to of that is there's this movie called Ninja Assassin, really old movie. I say really old, but I think it was probably like early 2000s. It's basically about ninjas, obviously. In the movie, though, the ninjas are basically have superpowers. They're like emerging from the shadows. They're basically faster than the average bullet. Like the only person that can actually kill them are their own kind. Which, now that I think about it, actually makes a lot of sense. But anyways, they have a ton of different not bullets, they have a ton of different tools. Now I'm thinking about guns. Ton of different tools, ton of different ninja tools, that is. So it'd basically be like Bat's utility belt, where that nigga literally has every single thing in his utility belt. Also, something I think would be really cool is if in the domain expansion, whenever people try to touch him or attack him, he'd basically just like turn into bats. You know, like how Itachi does his substitution and he turns into crows, or maybe just something like this.